They're going to start firing questions off, and they're going to start asking you questions about the market. And if they live in Flamingo Hills subdivision, you better know what the sales are like in Flamingo Hills. And you better know what the average price is selling for in Flamingo Hills and what pool homes are selling for. And, Ellie and I, we're working a listing right now in a
네,
neighborhood in Tampa called Avila.
알아보면서.
And the people and when we took that listing, it wasn't one of our main farm areas. It is a new farm area for us, and it's a very luxurious community. So we went in and started talking to people. I think, Sheila, I think your mic is on. Um, so yes, if you could, yes, perfect, perfect. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. Um, so when you're where was I at here? So when you are going to these areas in Avila like that, we have a pretty good understanding of what's happening in there. So the house was built in the 1970s. When we're driving through the neighborhood, you could see these houses are being torn down, these older houses. So there's a lot value there. You look at what's happening on the golf course. We went up against agents that were farming that area and that have been for decades and that have hundreds of sales in there. And we were able to walk away with the listing. And when the offers started to come in and they were a little bit lower, we were explaining, just like we told you at the listing appointment, these people are trying to come in at lot value. You can't compare an average price per square foot on a new construction home in Avila versus an old home because they want to tear down the old home. So you better know the lot value. So when we went in, we explained most of the offers are going to come in at lot value, which is around 2.5 to 2.6 million. So when we got an offer of 3.1 million, we need to take it because we know that that's as high as it's going to get for you. And that's any price point, any neighborhood. I don't care if you're selling mobile homes in a mobile home park, you still want to know that you're the expert, and we have to learn. And that's what I'm going to lead with, is learn everything that there is to know about the market so you do become the expert in your area. You want to become the go-to person, or if somebody asked a question about something about investing homes, I know that Sean knows everything that there is to know. Nobody's going to hit Sean up and miss. You're not going to. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say because you've done it. You do it yourself. It's your wheelhouse. You've educated yourself. So that's what's important. So what I'm going to show you today, I'm going to get you in all day. I'm going to get you into these listings. I'm going to get you in to meet these people. But when you get there, you have to be able to give a presentation to them that's going to secure the listing for you, because they're looking at you as like every other real estate agent that walks into the room. They want to know what's different about you, what's different about your company, what's different about your marketing. I'm sick of real estate agents promising me the moon and they don't do anything. So that's a complete different training, but you've got to understand that when you get to the this information will get you to the dance. You'll have conversations, but when you get there, you got to have a good conversation. You got to have a game plan, some of which I talk about in my marketing, which drives them to call me. Now, some of the basic things that we do, and if you're not familiar with mailing out every door direct, this is a simple one-page letter that Ellie sent out to Carolwood. This is just a simple postcard, every door direct. It's got a scan code there where you could scan that code to get your home value. A lot of people will do that. That's an area that she's farming. So if she were to go after an expired in that neighborhood, they're used to seeing her postcards. They're used to seeing her flyers. That's lower hanging fruit for her. But what if you weren't farming that neighborhood? What if you wanted to go in and this listing, where are my targets? How do I find that target that I think is going to call me? So the fresh meat, when a house comes off the market, they're attacked. And as I said earlier, people don't really keep track, and they're not very fundamentally sound on keeping records at what they're sending. So it's easy when a home comes off the market. Everybody calls, door knocks, sends letters. and they do all the stuff and try to get the people in front of them. And when the people don't respond right out of the gate, the next day there's a whole bunch of new listings that hit the market, and they do the same thing, lather, rinse, repeat, nonstop until they end up getting an appointment. So I took a deep breath and I said, okay, let me look at the people that didn't go right back on the market. So I might go back 90 days. Sometimes I'd go 90 days to, a year back, just to kind of see who went on the market. They all pop up. Our MLS has a little button on the bottom that says show property history. So you click the property history, and if whatever's on top is the last thing that happened. So if it's an expired listing, if it's withdrawn, if it's canceled, if it's now hear me on this. If it's conditionally withdrawn, most agents that are experienced won't try to go after that listing because they go, well, it's conditionally withdrawn. If I list it and it sells within the original listing period with the other brokerage, they get the commission. And that is true. But when you talk to these people, you can find out from them, when did that listing expire? Now I'm going to list the home, and their original listing agreement was going to expire on April 30th. So now here I come in to try to get the listing, and they're going to go, hey, Vince, I can't sell it before April 30th. I go, well, we can put the home on the market now. And in the remarks, I'll say seller cannot close before May 1st. Now that you wait, you purge it out, you wait for them to go. If the other agent says, why not? You tell them why, because they were listed with another agent. It withdrew. It's under a conditional termination, and they'll have to pay double commission unless your buyer wants to pay 2 commissions up front and pay the other brokerage. Then they can close sooner. And that's just the loophole through it. You just wait out the time of the contract time. So that's why a lot of those people don't relist. So when you see they still want to sell, but nobody's really walked them through the process on how they can get around it. So I'll typically write a letter to them that is, and ChatGPT is your friend on these letters. Okay. Hey, I call my ChatGPT JJ. I got that from you, Angel, because you named yours. And I'll say, hey, JJ, I'm writing an expired letter to a property that came off the market 4.5 months ago. And I've recently had a sale in that neighborhood, and I want to send them an illustration of what we did on that property. And so AI, you give it all the information and it writes you a short little letter that you send them. Now, a couple of ways you can go about that, but I always say you need to invest in yourself. If you're going to get these expired, it isn't just about the letter. But I got one here that I just picked up off the table. One of the agents in the office printed. And then, ironically, when you see it just says, we recently sold a home at 4114 Rocky Shores Drive, and we wanted to personally share the results with you. So this isn't an expired letter. This is telling them that you sold something in their neighborhood. Now, you know that their home came off the market a few months ago, and that's going to pique their interest. So when they throw that letter away in the garbage can, I write the same letter, and it gets crumpled up. And then at the top, you can see I just print 2 of them. And then here's the same letter ripped up and crumpled up. This is the original one that they threw away. And a few days later, they get this one. It's all folded up, and it's all in an envelope. It's puffy little envelope. They think they're being invited to a wedding or something. And then you handwrite those envelopes. And it says on the top of it, don't throw this letter away again. Call me so I can get your home sold. And for a second, they think you've been in their garbage can, but then they think it's so cute. And I've gotten my best clients just off of that. So the follow-up of that is, hey, Angel, it's Vince Arcuri. I sent you a letter a couple of days ago. I know your home came off the market and you got bombarded with real estate agents. Well, you could see I sent you some information on the listing that I sold on Rocky Shores, and it has generated so many buyers for the neighborhood. I was wondering if you thought about putting that home back on the market. Now, Real estate is about conversations. It's about interaction. It's about meeting people and having conversations. If you're not meeting people and having conversations, you're not going to increase your listings and sales. So that is selling a home in a neighborhood or in an area, and you have a sale anywhere near that area, you're able to go and ask them, hey, I noticed that your home was for sale, and you're not saying I want your listing. I just sold a home. I've created a lot of activity, buyer activity. I've got some people that are inquiring. Have you thought about selling? Fill in the blank from there. They're going to say, no, we had a job transfer that went through and it didn't go through, so we decided not to sell. Oh, or do you think you're going to be selling anytime in the future? Can I put you into my CRM? I'm not going to say it like that, but I'm going to say, hey, listen, I've got a free program where I could email you monthly with everything that's happening in the neighborhood so you can keep track of what's happening. Do you mind if I put you on that list? And they'll say, most likely they'll say, yeah, sure, go ahead. And you can unsubscribe if you don't like it. And now I need your email address. If you've got their phone number, you're already talking to them. If you don't have their phone number and you're knocking on a door, asking them about it, which I highly recommend, a face-to-face knocking on the door and going, hey, Sean, it's Vince Arcuri. I sent you a letter earlier this week, and I don't want to be a pest, but I sold that home on Rocky Shores, and I've got a lot of buyer activity, and you didn't call me. I was on the way to another appointment. Just wanted to stop in real quick and see if you've given any thought to selling. Now, at that point, when I have the conversation about the CMA on their house or giving them comps when they don't want to sell, I go, let me text you my contact information. What's your cell number? Now they're giving you their cell number. I'm going to text them and ask for their email. I'm going to send them the report. Now I've met them in person. I've got their name. I'm going to write them a handwritten thank you note saying, hey, Sean, it was really great chatting with you. Appreciate everything. And let me know how you like the report. So those are longer term CRM burns that get in their head because now you're doing the automatic follow-up using your CRM. Now, when I talked earlier about a lot of these people, they just move on to the next fresh kill, the next fresh expired listing. And this is universal between for sale by owners as well, but I'm going to get a little bit more specific on by owners in a minute. So when you're giving this information, you give them value when you give them. So one of the things that I do, like, what does your CMA look like? Most people, they want to farm expireds, they want to get for sale by owners, and their propaganda that you would give to these people is shameful. And these agents are sending out some good stuff. So if you're not willing to spend a couple of $100s to get the materials, it's like you're going into battle and you're going to go fight a war. You don't have any guns. You don't have a helmet. You don't have boots. You don't have bullets for your gun. That's the biggest mistake that real estate agents make. So my CMAs look like this. It's just a really nice, I don't care what you use. You could be using Cloud CMA. You could use whatever. But it has a little glue thing in here. I bought the machine on eBay for about $25. There's the little glue strip. You stack up the papers for the CMA. I put it in the machine. It melts the glue. And now all the papers are all beautifully put together. So when you give them the CMA, you've got a nice little book, not holes punched in it. That's my thing. I feel like that's important. When I send out these expireds, I'm going to see if I can get farther back. This is a box that I have that we send out expired, and it's just a pretty thick box, and it's got Ellie and I on the cover. And, it says on here, your home value report. I might put a CMA in there, and then I might put a brochure of a home that we've reached. This is the Rocky Point one, by the way. Oh, no, it's a different one. Sorry. And, these are nice. These brochures, are they expensive? Somewhat, but look at it this way. You take a listing, and Angel, you take these listings in your building, and you're paying $300 or $400 for these $1 million photos that you get. And you already spent the bulk of the money there. So you pay somebody $100 to design the brochure for you. And there are local printeries. There's one in Tampa that they do those a la carte. So you think, well, I got to order 1,000 of those brochures. No, you don't. You can order 10 of them. You can order 20 of them. And I mean, honestly, my number one use of those is as a farming tool more so than a marketing tool. Do we use them to market the property? Yes, we use them. They're very impressive. And if anybody wants a copy of any of this, our seller guide, stuff that we use, you could just, I guess, put it in the chat, and Betsy next week will give me your address and I'll mail you one. Angel, did she ever get you those? I can't hear you. Take off the mute here.
No, and Poodle's on a cruise right now, so.
Oh, I gave them to her to give to you,
Yeah.
but you know,
She'll get them to me when she comes back.
Yes. All right. Awesome. So I'll mail those to anybody that that wants them. And let me just grab one real quick. Hold on one second. So here's the seller guide. And there's a million of them out there, folks. You could go, this isn't anything that I've invented. They're a dime a dozen. If you Google them, I guarantee you, if you said, show me a seller guide, this one I bought from somebody online for like $5. And then you go in and it goes into your Canva and you can edit it, drop your pictures in. It just gives you, everything's already filled in. You just have to fill in the blanks on yourself and drop in pictures of yourself. It's totally custom. So imagine if you're a buy owner and you're in one of these neighborhoods and you get this Vince Arcuri guy that's farming the neighborhood. Now here he is, he's sending me a box. It's got the seller guide. It's got a brochure of a home that I've recently sold in the neighborhood. It's got a CMA on their home without a price in it because I haven't been inside their home. And then this is going to go inside of a box with a cover letter inside of my box. And you're going to get this with postage on it. It's probably $8 to mail this to them. And they're going to open that. I guarantee you when they get this and they feel how heavy it is, when they open it up, it's as professional of a presentation as anybody's going to get. And that is what's going to put you in front. So I think when you're doing this type of farming, and some of the farming postcards that we do, which I highly recommend, are like, here's one that me and Ellie just, this is Every Door Direct, which is a fantastic, inexpensive way to mail. Again, if you can do that to get some familiarity with yourself in those neighborhoods, farming is a complete different training. But this, with the familiarity that these people will have with you over time and repeated contacts, it replicates the farming, except you're just doing it to this one house. You're basically farming this buy owner. Now, as time goes on and you're doing this every week for 2 or 3 hours, maybe you're getting 5 to 10 of these during that 3 hours. You're able to send out these and either mail it, knock on their door, depending on the location. You're keeping track of them so that now the next time you're doing a follow-up, I open up a little book in the office and it has what I sent them, which letter I sent them. There's a little thing I got from Staples. I can slide it in there and see what letter it was that I sent. What did I tell them? And that's the farm follow-up. Instead of doing an entire neighborhood, you're literally farming these people as you're building the database. And the importance of having that face-to-face meeting with them, knocking on the door. And when I mean knock on the door, a lot of agents, they jump right up on that front step and they knock on that door. It's not a good, it's very intimidating. They usually will use the Ring camera to answer. So I'll typically ring the doorbell and I usually will walk off that step. And if I'm hand delivering this box instead of mailing it, I walk away. And when they answer the door, I'm usually like, I'm walking away. And I'll say like, hey, Sean, I've got a Vince Arcuri. I've been sending you some mail. Have you gotten it? The crumpled up letter. Oh yeah, you're there. Yeah. Listen, I'm on my way to another appointment, but I was going to drive right by your house. I wanted to ask, have you thought about selling your home? That's your intro. And the fact that you're not standing right in front of them, you're already walking away and you can say, hey, listen, I just want to know. And then usually they're trying to pull you back in because you're trying to walk away. You're not a threat to them. They're not intimidated that there's strangers at their door. And then I end up handing them the box and go, well, listen, I was going to mail this to you if I didn't get a hold of you today, but here's a box. I ran some comps for you and told you the reasons why I thought your home didn't sell. I'd love to come inside over the weekend if you're available, and I could probably tell you exactly why your home didn't sell. Now, if your home didn't sell and some real estate agent told you, I can tell you exactly why your home didn't sell, do you think maybe they would want to hear that? Because if they really need to sell, I think they'd take that bait. It's just like when I tell people about buy owners, if you knock on a buy owner door, for whatever reason, I just sold a home down the street and I see, how's your activity going? You engage the conversation with them. And my number one thing that I've said since 1991, and I still say today to a buy owner, is like, Sean, if I could show you that you could net more money by listing your home with me than you could by selling on your own, would you at least listen to what I had to say? And what are they going to say? Nope, I don't want to make more money. And then I'll go, listen, what's a good time for me to meet with you, later this afternoon or tomorrow? Tomorrow, morning or afternoon? Afternoon, 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock? See you at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Now, I don't exchange any phone numbers if I can avoid it at that point, if that was my first meeting, because they'll call and cancel. So the hope is not to give them any of your information other than that, because you're going to want to, they'll cancel on you. But the real estate agents will say to me, Vince, that's great, but how am I going to net them more money than they can by selling on their own? That floors me, because that tells me, going back to the beginning, you didn't educate yourself. You don't know how to market property. You don't have a game plan, which you're not going to get these listings if you don't come up and say, I've got, my marketing is different. Angel, first thing I do is I'm going to send out to everybody in this neighborhood, all 1,500 houses, I'm going to send out this just listed card that I'm going to send on your home. And then on the card, I'm going to ask them to scan a code if they want the brochure on your home, which is also going to all the human resource directors in the area, the hospital, the local hospital down the area. It's going to, so you do your research on where that's going. Because if you've got a game plan and a plan of action, all of a sudden you're different than everybody else. And if you have no game plan, you have no course of action, you're not different than anybody else. That's just going to be another appointment that you failed on. So the confidence level that you have, and I think they sense the confidence that you have or you don't have. And if you don't have the confidence and they're firing off questions and you don't know the answers to them, that scares people off because they've already had that. So have a game plan when you go in. On a buy owner and even on an expired listing, I walk in and I go, do you know who the other agent, when they had it listed, do you know who they were marketing the home to? And that's a really weird question, because most real estate agents don't even think about that. And they'll say, well, what do you mean? Like, who are they marketing? They put it in the MLS. And I'll say, well, I know, but I see this house and I see how close it is to Tampa General Hospital. And I know a lot of doctors live over there on Davis Island. And I'm wondering if the agent did any direct marketing to the staff over there at Tampa General Hospital. I mean, you could walk through the hallway of the ER and every single doctor that works at that hospital, and every CEO and every big shot, there they are. Their pictures are on the wall. It's easy to walk through there with your cell phone and take a video of that and look them up in the tax rolls, because guess what? They're all living in big dollar homes near that hospital. It's pretty easy to find out who they are. And then you take a listing in that neighborhood, or you've got an agent that in your office maybe that sells big dollar. One thing, me and Ellie allow agents in our network to put their pictures on these magazines. So that's the cheapest time to get them, is when we're having them printed. And Sean might say, hey, listen, I want 20 of those magazines. Well, if I'm printing 500 of them, Sean's going to get 20 of them for little or nothing. And if Sean was doing an open house for me, for example, he would have his brochure there with his picture and his information instead of mine. So there are ways to get these and piggyback off of other people if you don't have these high dollar listings. And I'm going to target a high dollar neighborhood. The first thing I'm going to do is call me and say, hey, the next time you take a big listing like that, or how much would it cost me to get my picture on one of your old ones so that I could use them as marketing pieces as well? So you really have to think about this. It's just not, and I know a lot of people jump on these classes and they say, hey, I want to farm the expireds, but I didn't tell them anything good, because what they want to hear is write this one letter and these are the magical words. And there is no magical words. There's so many real estate agents out there that are doing this. It is the consistency and the discipline of the follow-up with these people. It's having the courage to knock on that door and have a face-to-face conversation, or to pick up the phone and make a phone call to them. One of the things I love to say to these old expireds is I'll go, hey, Angel, it's Vince Arcuri, and we spoke about 6 months ago. You told me to call you in 6 months, and I have you in my calendar to call you today. It's been 6 months. You told me to call you in 6 months. Well, guess what? 6 months ago was when the home came off the market, and 9,000 real estate agents blew up their phone that day. So 9 times out of 10, they go, oh, yeah, okay. And that's a soft way to get in, because I didn't even call them 6 months ago, but they had so many phone calls. They did have so many phone calls that now you're able to maybe engage them and be inquisitive. What are they doing? When are they moving? Hey, what happens if the home doesn't sell? You need to sell your home. What happens if it doesn't sell? You need to know you need to know the information so you can better advise them. If the home is overpriced, you have to tell people that it's overpriced. And one of the objections that I was handling the other day is somebody told me, and it inspired me. I actually did a podcast on it. Shameless plug, realtyrant.com. If you want to subscribe, go to YouTube. But I did a podcast on it that's coming up about how agents make money off of overpriced listings. So you're on a listing appointment and you're going against me, and the home value is 400,000, and I want to list it at 409. And another agent comes in there and wants to list it at 449. Well, most consumers are going to say, well, I'm going to list it with the guy at 449 because he believes in my home and he believes in everything. And I explained to them, listen, how many are you interviewing more than me? Yes, I'm interviewing 4 agents. Okay, I want to caution you about a tactic that many agents use, and that is they overprice listings. They try to buy the listing, and by buy the listing, I mean they know the value of your home is 400,000, but they're going to try to tell you that it's worth 450, because at that point they can do open houses on the weekends and people are going to come in to look at your home, and they're going to realize that your home is overpriced. And then that agent is going to take those buyers and go sell them other houses that are priced right. So your house is the bait for them to get buyers. Some people pay for ads on Zillow, Realtor.com. Some agents do these open houses on overpriced homes, and they get these. I want to just caution you against that, because every month that your home doesn't sell, Mr. Seller, what's the carry on this house every month? Oh, it's $6,000. Okay, so if it's 3 months before you realize what's happening here, you've paid $18,000 in carry on the home, and meanwhile the agents made that equal amount at your expense. So I just want to caution you about the pricing of your home and not being overpriced, because statistically, and I go through all that. That's the education part that we talked about earlier, knowing these statistics. Back to the buy owner. Vince, how am I going to do that? How do I make it? Mr. Seller, if I could show you that I could net you more money by listing with me than you could selling on your own, would you list with me? Well, let me show you how. You're on an island on your own. You're like one man on an island with your buy owner. I'm putting your home in MLS. It's syndicated to every MLS in the world where anybody can look at your home. I'm going to have the highest quality pictures, the highest quality videos, the highest quality marketing materials on the follow-up. My technology is second to none. When these people look at the home, I go into MLS and I do reverse prospecting, which is most agents don't even know what that is, to follow up with each agent that's looked at the home, or if any of their customers have looked at their home, I can do a reverse prospecting. And this is the type of insight that I have. If you don't know about it, you can't tell them about it. What's making you different? So those are some of the follow-ups that we do to get your home sold. And then again, who was your agent marketing to? Were they marketing it to the hospital? Were they marketing it to, is it near any type of a heavy work company? Is there a Ford plant right down the street? Well, I want to go to the human resources at the Ford plant where people are coming in. Maybe these executives are coming in. We've sent brochures to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I know some people would think that's crazy to send to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because I had this beautiful house one time in Harbor Island that was unbelievable. As a professional golfer listed it, and I thought it was a cool idea. Hey, Joel Glazier lives right there next door to her. And, you know, you always see Brian Glazier and Joel Glazier together. I thought it would be cool to send that to One Buck Place and to send it to Joel. Maybe, guess who bought the house? Brian Glazier. Guess who his realtor was? Didn't have a realtor. Responded off the marketing piece. Responded off of a marketing piece. So somebody's going to say, that isn't going to work. I'm going to send a marketing piece to Michael Jordan. That's not going to work. Well, you know what? It might, because it did. You know, do I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneer account? No. Have I sold to a lot of Tampa Bay Buccaneer players and coaches? Yes, because of the marketing, because I know where they live and I know I can go into the tax rolls. And you know what? I'm not going after Baker Mayfield and I'm not going after the star of the team, but you know, there's 100 players on that Tampa Bay Buccaneer roster that are some of them are on the practice squad, but it's easy to find that information. And a lot of them live in smaller homes and they're transient. They move a lot. Michael Pittman was a free agent acquisition of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Ellie and I landed him as a client, and he bought a new construction home and then he hated it. So we sold him the new construction and then we listed it and then we sold him a home in Cheval. And then the Bucks won the Super Bowl. So he wanted a bigger house in Cheval. So we sold that house. We sold him our own listing for $1 million back then, when $1 million was a lot of money in Tampa. And we sold him $1 million home. He gutted it, renovated it. Then he went to the Denver Broncos. They as a free agent, but he wanted to stay in Tampa. So we sold that house, but a smaller home. We sold him. And then he decided, you know what? I'm not going to be coming to Tampa. I mean, do the math on that. That's one guy, you know, one marketing piece, one piece that somebody responded to, and they respond to that. And that's what happens. And I have to do the math one day on how much money we made off of that. So it's being active in the area, being active with your marketing and being consistent with it, and then doing the follow-up. And everybody does it a little bit different. Everybody, I mean, the little crumpled up letters are about as effective as anything that I've ever sent out. Is just a little, whatever letter you're sending out, print 2 of them, handwrite on there on the second one. Don't throw this letter away again. Call me. Now, once or twice in my career, some quack has come out and said, oh yeah, Vince, I want to talk to the broker because somebody's been in my garbage can. Every now and then you get one of those quacks. And then when they realize, when you talk to them, what you did, and I go, hey, listen, the marketing, it got you to call me one way or the other. I mean, you know, you were listed with another agent, you got 10,000 correspondence from different realtors, but you called me. So my marketing was unique. So those are the things that I'm going to say. If I'm new and I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, the first thing I'm going to do is find out what type of marketing materials I can get my hands on that are going to make me stand out. Now, do you have to order a box? No, you can order a custom envelope that does the exact same thing, 8.5 by 11. So you can find economical ways to invest in yourself. But listen, this whole business is one of the things that's flabbergasted me about the real estate industries. I worked at Tampa Electric for 10 years. I worked 10 Christmases, 10 Thanksgivings, 10 New Year's Eves, 10 New Year's Days. When you flip on a light switch in your house, that electricity comes on. There's people there that are making that electricity. And I was never a supervisor, and I was never going to be a supervisor because it's hard to believe, but I'm very outspoken. I was never going to become a supervisor. So they would draft you and say, sorry, you don't have Christmas this year, Vince. You didn't work enough overtime this year, so you're drafted as one of the low people with the least amount of overtime. So nobody volunteers for it. I get picked, and I got picked every year because I hated that job. And that man told me every day, be here at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're going to get off around 2 o'clock, and you're going to work Saturday, and you're going to work Sunday, and you're going to work midnight shift, and you're going to work 3 to 11. And I did it. But what that taught me, and it doesn't teach a lot of people because I see a lot of people failing in the real estate industry, and they go, well, I got to go back to my old job at, ABC Liquor, and where they're going to tell me you got to be here at 12 o'clock. And this is your schedule. Go look at your schedule. We can make our own schedule. We can work 3 hours a week doing this stuff and make 6 figures with your eyes closed. I could go into a brand new city and implement this, and I would make $250,000 my first year. You've got to have the discipline to do it for yourself. I'm getting up in the morning. People that know me know that I'm up in the morning. I'm the first one in the office because I've got that discipline still back from my Tampa Electric days where my body's not going to let me sleep till 10 or 11 o'clock. I know that by 10 or 11 o'clock, by 10 o'clock, all my prospecting is done. All my pieces are set to go out. Now I've got the rest of the day. If I want to go pick up my grandkids and take them to Disney World, I can do that. But my priority every day is to get to the office and do some of this prospecting. Now, more so lately than in the past, because I've got a lot of people working in the office that want to do it. So I'm in here and they're shadowing me. And if you're with our group, you can always come in here and tell me what day you're going to be in the morning. And I'm able to come in here and do it with you. And if you want to go after a super expensive neighborhood, I know I did it with Leslie. And Leslie is not used to doing expensive. That was a $3 million listing. I went with her. I split the deal with her, but asked her if she learned what she learned during the course of that transaction. And it was a huge commission check. It was a $3 million sale that we had. It only was on the market for like 4 or 5 days. Guess what? She's got brochures and marketing materials now to send out to other high-end listings. So she's in the mornings, she'll come in and send all that stuff out. And that's what she's doing because she's seen what it looks like. And now she's realizing it's not as difficult as people try to make it. So I don't care if you're trying to farm expired listings, if you're trying to farm by owners, if you're wanting to farm, you have to find something that you like to do. Because if you don't like doing this, you're not going to do it. I love sending out direct mail. I love creating flyers. I love doing this stuff. If you're a producer, you can get your title company, mortgage company to assist you, and you put a little ad on there for them. This one, put a little ad on there of the title company, and they'll contribute to offset some of the costs. Check RESPA guidelines in your area. But you've got to find a way to do it and to implement this stuff into your plan as part of your daily activity. Because listen, if you did it 3 hours a week and you were making $100,000 a year off of it, maybe you start doing it 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and make $500,000. But if you like doing it and you enjoy doing it and you learn what to say, and there's a lot of people, they don't know what to say when somebody calls them. The dialogue, you could go on YouTube. There's countless role play dialogues by owners when people call you, what to say, how to say it, how to engage with them. You have to become a student of the game. Spring training's getting ready to start here in Tampa, and New York Yankees are getting ready to report to camp here in February. And you think about those guys, and they're up there, they're role playing. They're hitting ball after ball after ball. And before the opening day of baseball, opening day, before the first pitch is thrown, those players have taken thousands and thousands of ground balls in spring training. They've looked at thousands and thousands of pitches in the batting cages. They've ran mile after mile after mile to get in shape before the first pitch was thrown. So when they're actually in a game, they know what to do and how to react, and they're at top form. The worst thing to do is to go through all this trouble and learn how to do this and start really going after it. And then when the people call you, you don't know what to say. You haven't practiced with agents in your office about what to say when a buy owner calls you or asks you a specific question. If you're afraid of the answer because you don't know it, research it and learn the answer so that when they do it. Here's the difference that I always tell everybody. The difference between me and a new real estate agent is when I'm pulling up on a listing to go on a listing, I'll pull up and go, oh, let's see, it's 6 o'clock. If I can get over here by 7, I got time to pick up Ellie for dinner and maybe we can go catch that new movie. Somebody that's not prepared is pulling up going, oh my God, what if they ask me this? What if they ask me that? What if I don't get the listing? What if this? And you, because you didn't immerse yourself in the dialogue on how a conversation takes place. Either you haven't seen it, you haven't studied it, but all the information is available on our fingertips. It's all available on YouTube. I still use an old Floyd Wickman. It's called 101 Dialogues. It's to this day. You just take the Floyd Wickman system on when he says that they're phone calls that'll come in and all that. It just do the internet instead of that. It's the same thing. You're still having these same conversations with people. Instead of writing a letter, sometimes you're writing an email. It's all getting data, following up with these people, and it can transform your life if you become a fan of it and immerse yourself in it. And this may not be it. It may not be buy owners. It may not be expireds. It might be farming. It may be working buyers. And you might want to go buy some leads somewhere and then follow this. You've got to find what you like doing, because you're going to do it if you like doing it. And, I think Ellie and I work well together because Ellie, she doesn't like doing this kind of stuff over here. Ellie works buyers. She's great with these buyers. They get in the car. She's great at negotiating the contracts. She does, there's a horrible home inspection. She's going to calm everybody down. I want to go out and prospect and get listings. And that's what I do. So we make a good duo, because what I love doing isn't what she loves doing. And what she loves doing is something that I hate doing. So between the two of us, we pretty much get everything covered. But you've really got to learn the dialogue. You've got to learn the objection handling. You've got to learn what to send. You've got to learn how to talk to people, how to follow up with people. And the fortune is in the follow-up. That's where the money's made, is you make these initial contacts. You're either going to call them if you can find their email address, if you know a neighbor, if you can get a recommendation from some of your past clients to put in that package. Those types of validations are what gives the people the confidence to go with you. And one thing that I do know, and I'm going to wrap up here in a minute, but one of the things I know is, as an established agent, 35 years, if somebody interviews me and they interview one of you guys and they think that Vince is a little bit arrogant, he's cocky, but that girl Angel, I really liked her. If Angel had a good pitch and a good rap and a good, hey, this is how I market properties, and they like her and they don't like me, 100 out of 100 times, they're going to go with the agent that they like. Now, here's where agents get caught up in the trap is they go, that Vince was a little bit, I'm not saying I'm arrogant. If they thought I was arrogant, they would say that Vince was a little bit arrogant, but man, he sure had a good game plan going in over here, and he had all the answers to everything. And Angel was so sweet and nice, but she really didn't seem like she knew what she was doing. Then I get the listing. So by learning the objection handling and having a marketing plan and being consistent, reaching out to these people, when you do get those interviews and you're able to articulate what you're going to do to get their home sold and how you're going to get it sold, The other agent could be the King Kong of your city, and it doesn't matter. You're gonna get the listing. That listing I was talking about a little while ago, Leslie and I, on the luxury listing, we went up against the #1 real estate agent in Tampa. He's in every billboard, Tampa Bay Lightning game. Every time you turn on the radio or on TV, there he is. And that's who we were going against. You got to know what to say when these people say, hey, that guy spends $100,000 a month marketing. What do you spend? You better be prepared to answer that question. And the answer to the question was, he does spend $100,000 a month on marketing. He spends it on the billboards and at the Tampa Bay Lightning and at the New York Yankee billboard and on the radio and on TV. He doesn't spend it marketing listings. You did exactly what his marketing is. You called him to interview him about selling your home. So I spend my marketing dollars marketing with these brochures and he didn't have any of that. And ultimately, we ended up with a $3 million sale that closed in 3 weeks from the day we listed it. So having the learning desire to go onto YouTube and listen to some of these videos and role play with other agents is key, because when you're faced in the real game and it's opening day and here's the first pitch coming for real, you're ready to play ball for the start of the season because you've done all the back work. This business is the most lucrative business that you could be in. You're making more money than doctors and lawyers. It's an insane amount of money that we can make. And people don't want to learn the business. And you want to go out and learn and be the best real estate agent you can be. If you see something happening with the rates, how many rate cuts are you expecting this year, Vince? 1. I know the news media is playing out a bunch of stuff, but I don't think we'll see more than 1 rate cut this year, because you know what? This is what's happening with the economy. The inflation is now under control and people's salaries are going up and the real estate's coming down a little bit, which creates a fire going. And this is what's happening. What's happening with the with the property taxes in Florida, Vince? I heard you're going to get rid of property taxes. Yeah, it's going to be on the ballot in November of this year to eliminate homesteaded property. Whoa, how are we going to pay the bills? Well, there's a 0.5 cent sales tax that's also set to expire, and the state's done the calculation. And that 0.5 cent, if we vote to keep that, it's more money than the income they're going to lose from the homesteaded. So I recommend that you vote for that. Be in the know. So when people talk to you, you're just not some agent trying to make a commission off the sale of their home. Does that make sense? Guys, I know I've taken up an hour of your time. I hope you guys have learned something. I know this was recorded, so if you can get a hold of Betsy and if she needs to play it again, and if you have any questions or anything, you could call or text me. My phone number is 813-VINCENT, 813-846-2368. It's the Tampa area code, 813. Spell the word Vincent. And don't forget, tomorrow, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, Patesh, we're at Hyde House. I think it starts at 12 o'clock. In the remarks down here, they put in the link if you want to register for that. And for a free ticket, you can just put promo code Vince, VINCE. I promise you'll be glad you went to that event. And I'll be there, so I'll be looking forward to seeing all of y'all there. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and best of luck to all of you.
Thank you, Vince.
Thank you, Vince. It was amazing.
Thank you, Vince.
You.
Thank you, Vince.
you.
You know,
You're
we'll be getting
welcome,
together.
guys. Call me anytime.
Thank you.